Hello learners, I am back with another interesting topic, Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish, which talks about Steve Jobs. In my previous video, I talked about the analysis of the question paper. So if you want to pick up this question and write it in your exam, it's better you follow this video and note down a few important points which helps you to score good marks in your exam. So when you are writing your answer, I always want my students to start their answer with an introduction. So what you can write in the introduction? Very simple. You can say that Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish is a lesson which talks about Steve Jobs, who was the co-founder, the chairman and CEO of Apple. He is very well known as a very successful and charismatic entrepreneur. And also you can add some more details like, in addition to all those things, Jobs was a pioneer of the personal computer revolution. And he co-founded and chief executive of Animated Studios. So if you want to add these points in the introduction, along with the previous points, like he was the co-founder and he was the pioneer, he is like a chief executive of Animated Studios, it helps you to build up a very good introduction. And he also talked about if we really work on his early life, he was born on February 24th in the year 1955 in San Francisco. Well, his birth parents were John and Syrian political refugee Abdul Fattah, and he was adopted at birth by Paul and Clara Jobs. So Jobs grew up in Silicon Valley where he attended the local schools. He was very intelligent and he was very much curious, and at an early age he became interested in electronics and engineering. So if you remember these points, you will be able to analyze these in your answer. And Jobs dropped out from the college after his first semester and learnt about technology and design. The important point that you must remember here is he partnered with his friend Steve Wozniak to form the Apple Computer Company, and the Apple Computer Company was founded in 1976. So here you can observe his career and profession. When Steve Jobs became the co-founder and CEO of Apple, he is widely considered as one of the most influential inventors and entrepreneurs of the 20th century. And you know what? He revolutionized the personal computer, the music industry and the mobile device market. Today, Apple phone is like a very prestigious symbol and it's a very wonderful gadget for all of us to remember how and what happened for the design of this. And he studied at Reed College and he was a dropout, as we already had discussed, and then he came back to California. He then founded Apple with Steve Wozniak and he developed and sold personal computers. This was his profession in the early age. And then he eventually became the chairman of Apple in the year 1985 and he established the company's product design principles. So he also introduced iMac, iTunes, iPod and iPhone, and he was very well known for his innovative thinking and relentless pursuit of perfection. Like he every time wanted things to be quite perfect. And he resigned from Apple due to his declining health condition, and he passed away in October in 2011. So what he contributed to the society is a very important thing. So the points are very clear here. He co-founded a company named Apple along with Steve Wozniak. He delivered the first commercially successful personal computer. He was awarded over 450 patents and which really revolutionized 6 major industries, and he was behind the successful animation studio Pixar. I believe if you really add these points as bulleted points in your answer will be very, very effective. And then when it comes to other things, like he re-established Apple as a profitable company. He laid the foundation of Apple new age products with Mac OS. He changed the way people listen to music through iPod, and he revolutionized the smartphone market with iPhone. And these are the scene facts of Steve Jobs. He was the co-founder and CEO of Apple. He was born on 24th 1955 and passed away on October 5th. He was an innovator and a visionary who revolutionized the way people interact with technology. He was the driving force behind products such as the iPhone, iPad, iPod, and Mac. He was awarded the National Medal of Technology and Innovation in the year 1985. These are all known facts about Steve Jobs. Let's have a look at the unseen facts about Steve Jobs. So these are the unseen facts about Steve Jobs. He was adopted as a baby and raised by his adoptive parents. He was a college dropout, having attended Reed College for only one semester. He was a Buddhist and practiced Zen meditation. He was a vegetarian and did not consume any animal products. And he had a passion for calligraphy, and that was the reason he joined in calligraphy classes when he came out of the college. He was inspired by it when designing the fonts used by Apple. So these are the unseen facts of Steve Jobs. Well, I don't suggest you to put these points in your answer, but I want you to understand other important facts of Steve Jobs. These are some awards and rewards that Steve Jobs have got. In the year 1983, National Medal of Technology, 2006, Jefferson Award, 2007, Grace Hopper Award, 2010, Lifetime Achievement Award. And if you really talk about 2011, he was awarded the Outstanding Leadership Award from the Stanford Graduate School of Business. In the year 2012, he was inducted into the California Hall, which is a great achievement. So the most important part is this, I want you all to learn. I want everyone to take a pen and a paper to jot down some important points, because if you write all about these three stories in your answer, I am damn sure that you can score 7 out of 7 by beautifully presenting them as bulleted points and side headings. The first story talks about, this is his first story, connecting the dots. Let's take a look what is connecting the dots. Please don't look at the paragraph on the slide, but try to listen to what I'm trying to tell you. We all know that Steve Jobs dropped out from Reed College after the first 6 months because the college that he had chosen was very expensive, and all the savings of his parents were being spent on his college tuition. So after 6 months when he joined the college, he did not find out the value in attending that particular college. So he decided to come out of the college, and of course, yes, he believed that it is not working out. So Steve Jobs, when he came out, he didn't even have a room. So he slept on the floor in friends' rooms. He used to walk for 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get at least one good meal per week at the Hare Krishna temple. So he used to go and eat the meal in the temple. And as Steve Jobs dropped out from the college and is not able to attend the normal classes, he joined the calligraphy classes and learned about sans serif and serif font types. And he also learned about the different letter combinations and what makes typography great. So after 10 years, they designed the first Macintosh computer and turned into Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. So if he never dropped from the college, he never dropped in on this calligraphy class, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography, isn't it? Now, Steve Jobs finally said that you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. That's a wonderful story of Steve Jobs. So he says that look at your back and connect the dots, which will really help you in the future. This is a beautiful story where you can put all some important points in your answer. Let's take a look at the second story. The second story talks about love and loss. Well, Jobs felt very lucky because he found what he wanted to do in early life, isn't it? He dropped out from the college and he wanted what he could learn what he wanted to achieve. He have learned calligraphy and he designed personal computer. Was and he started Apple in the parents' garage when he was 20. So the first Apple company was started in his parents' garage at the age of 20. So they worked very hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from garage to $2 billion company with 4,000 employees. It's not a normal task, my dear learners, because he took an initiative, he started the company in the garage, and then he had grown up to 2 billion company. It's really an awesome achievement that a human being can achieve. So, when Steve Jobs turned 30, he got fired from his own company because as Apple grew, they hired someone who they thought very talented to run the company. And as time went there, visions of the future began to diverge and eventually they had a falling out. So, the boards of directors sided with him and fired Steve Jobs from his own company at the age of 30. So there was a problem in the company, and Steve Jobs was fired out from his own company. So after 5 years, Jobs started a company named Next and another company named Pixar. And there he fell in love with a woman who would become his wife. Pixar went on to create the world's first animated film, Toy Story, which is now the most successful animation studio in the world. So Apple brought the Next and he returned to Apple. Lawrence and Steve Jobs have a wonderful family together. And Steve Jobs said, "You have got to find what you love. So keep looking until you find it. Don't settle." Such a wonderful story. So, if he would not have been fired out from Apple, he would not have found Pixar, he would not have found the Next company where he fell in love with Lawrence and he got married. So he says that you have got to find what you love, so keep looking until you find it. Let's take a look at the last story, which is most important one. The last story talks about death. Now here he talks about his diagnosis. So Steve Jobs was diagnosed with cancer. The doctors told him that it was almost certainly a type which is not able to cure. It's incurable. So Steve Jobs said, "No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there." So death is the destination we all share. So it is life change agent and it clears out the old to make way for the new. Such a beautiful principle he carried all through. Even he came to know that he is going to die. So right now the new is you, but someday you will gradually become the old and be cleared away. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. That's a wonderful quote. Maybe your time is very limited and someday you'll become old and you will also be cleared. When he was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog, and on the back cover of their final issue were the words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." And he always wished that for him and now. He said that as we graduate to begin anew, he wished that for us, stay hungry and stay foolish. That's all about Steve Jobs, my dear learners. Hope you liked it and you have jotted down some important points. And I believe if you really put all these 3 stories as side headings and write down your answer, it will really helpful for you to, score good marks. Wish you good luck. Thank you.